I think, and obviously this might be a hot take. I think obviously racism is extremely wrong. I don't really think you should segregate people off because of their skin. But I also believe the people who are of a different skin in a different country should understand they're not at home. When I say this, right, I'm not saying that they're allowed to be treated wrongly. But for example, in a time of war, I use the same example. If your house is on fire, there's 2 kids, your kid and some random child. Who are you saving first?
I think we should try and take both the kids out.
I know, but I'm saying innately, this is a real question. No, I know, but the truth is of the matter, if you're you're saving your child first. No matter what, I'm not sure I'll grab both of them. No, your first option is, oh, where's my son? You're going to say, where's my son and the other boy? And that's the truth, which is what I'm saying in the whole, like, what do you call it, Ukraine, or when all Ukrainians were Russian and there were foreigners or immigrants there. It's wrong, but I can kind of understand with that analogy, like, why, okay, cool, people would want to protect their own first. Even in the animal kingdom, the reason why a lot of animals back in the day died when they didn't have a pack was because the moment anything went left, your group is protecting you. If you're not in a group, you're fucked. That's how it's been.
The whole bottom line of this thing is that we're actually just seeing them less than. We're actually seeing as lesser than. And the problem is, we're seen as lesser than here now, and then we'll go home to these countries, and these people will come, and we will still be seen as lesser than in our own country over these people. You want to tell me that is not years of indoctrination?
I think, especially with the Britain and the USA, they've done an extremely good job with the whole indoctrination thing. Like, it's kind of like even with the whole concept. I won't go into the whole concept of school. How, like, you're not taught to think. You're taught to learn how to do what somebody else. You're taught to learn how to learn.
The books that the media that we see, the books that we get, like, because I did primary school in Nigeria. Even our history books are so westernized. Everything is so westernized. Do you know that is so insane? In, like, I don't know if it's everyone, but in Niger, you have your name and you have an English name. How is that normal? You have your name and you have an English name because we were literally colonized by these people. Like half of us. Do you have an English name? Yeah. Exactly. You have it, and it's like that's your formal name.
In schools, certain like primary, secondary schools, if you go and say, "Oh, my name is," and you say something long, something too crazy. Say, yeah.
Or sass.
And then it would just be like, "Oh no, your name is Jeremy." How are you naming?
Yeah, literally. Yes, basically in my school, all the Asian kids got a name. Like, when you get there, you get to pick a name because they just can't be bothered to say yours.
And it's what?
You know how insane that is.
Your name. The thing that identifies
you get to pick a name because they don't want to say yours.
When it's to say Bartholomew or Shankolish is a bit
like stuff like that. Like, we're saying all these names.
I feel like the truth is the reason why they do it is because obviously nowadays they can't. So back in the day, right, colonization was more of a physical thing. Now it's not a physical thing. They're playing mind games.
It's a mental thing.
That's all it is. So now America cannot outright come out and say, "Oh, I want to take over Nigeria." Now they'll play mind games. Now they'll sign deals that, for example, look at what China does now. China doesn't give you money when you loan them. They if you want to build an airport for China, right, and you ask for 7 billion, China will tell you no, don't worry about the money. We'll build it for you. That means China now owns your airport.
They have literally taken, bro. One day we'll sit down and talk about how they've actually taken over that country that they come from.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, I keep repeating this because all I'm saying is that, like, we're allowing them, we're giving them too much leeway.
It's not that. It's because we are so destabilized. We cannot.
I get it.
We actually cannot.
I get it.
To be fair, I do agree with you. A lot of it is mindset, like, but it's teaching all these, like, teaching our parents' generation and stuff like that. Where do you think this whole, like, what's it called? Like, relaxing, I'm going to use relaxing your hair as an example. Naturally, we don't have straight hair. Naturally, your hair isn't relaxed, but having your afro out and having your 4C curly hair out is seen as unkept. Why do you think stuff like that is happening? It's because of what we see. It's what's on TV. It's indoctrination.
You don't have to buy into it.
Yeah, okay, Sam, you keep saying that. You keep saying you don't have to buy into it. But it was the norm for that generation, and now they have kids. and their kids have kids. It's
the cycle. That should be the
okay.
not
Let's
right
break
now.
the cycle. Is so different from we brought it on ourselves. There's very different statements, and we should stop having victim mindset
because we didn't bring it on ourselves.
That's what I'm saying.
Because now that we're breaking the cycle, we're still fighting a whole system.
Like let's come together. Like
yeah, let's come together, but it's hard because you're actually still fighting a whole system,
and it's still going. As in, there's
like,
still
you're
still
fighting
got their hands
Sam.
in their pockets.
We are actually we're actually the what's that word? Oh my god! When someone's like, there's a bigger person and there's a smaller person. It's not the minority.
Inferior.
Yes. We're the inferior ones.
Yeah.
We're actually the inferior ones in this case, and it's so deep.
And the truth is, and you know what's funny to me? A lot of people don't understand, and I think obviously because it's become normalized. Because now racism has become normalized. That's true. So a lot of people don't understand racism is still like very rampant.
It's so rampant.
Wherever you are, as long as like racism is just, and sometimes it can be even as a joke, it can be casual, it can be
just all these little microaggressions. It's insane. I mean? The fact that a teacher will actually skip over your name in school just because they don't want to say it.
Your last name was never called.
They will skip over your last name just because it sounds a bit funny.
Blessing.
And the fact that they can actually do that is all these little microaggressions. Like, you don't understand, but it's happened. Like,
and the truth about it is, because it happens to us, right, at such a fundamental level, as in like kids. That's the truth. You then grow up. You think
it's okay. You think it's normal.
You then grow up to.
We actually have the same vocal range.
You get what I mean?
We all move our mouths the same to say the same letters.
So it's kind of like for us, we have to learn how to talk like them, but they don't have to learn like talk like us. But they see us as less. We need to jump to reach them. And they don't want to go down to reach us.
So embarrassing.
That's all it is. They don't want to stoop below their levels.
We have to exactly, because again, it's this generations of them thinking they're better than us.
Or even the accent bit, right? Why is it that having a French accent is cute? Or like when they have a juicy French accent or a Spanish accent or an Italian accent is so amazing. But as soon as you have an African accent, you're a booty scratcher. As soon as you have like an Indian accent.
And you know what I don't understand about this whole.
No, this is what I'm saying. Why you give you? And I know. We might not have given ourselves those labels.
It's not giving. Sam.
Okay,
Sam. Let me give an example. Sam, let me give an example. It's not even about giving the power. Let me give an example. They call us. They say that we're booty scratchers or that we're barbaric. Do you know when you think of barbarians, right? And you think of all these ruffians and people who can't speak English, just like to fight and eat. Do you know what people portray that the most? Vikings and Nordic people. So I don't understand how barbarians relate to black people or animals when their man were doing like that. You get what I'm trying to say? They find the most negative connotations to give to us, even though, because do we have Vikings in Nigeria? Or were the ones going to work constantly? They're the ones that be eating meat, having beers and everything. It wasn't us.
And let me also explain something. You keep saying like, why do we keep buying into it? Sam, what would you tell, for example, now, you have a little boy that has just come from, let's say, Nigeria. He's in a private school somewhere in the UK. That boy is the only black boy in his class. He has gotten to the school. They have seen his English name, native name, and they've told him, sorry, we're not going to refer to you as your normal name that everyone's been calling you for the last 11 years of your life. We're going to call you this name now because it's easier for us to say. This boy now is going to class. They can't say his name on the register. This boy now is going to class and people are telling him, oh, your hair, you have to cut your hair because you can't have your afro. But his friend over there, Louis, is allowed to have his hair cut at like a... Is it like
a ball?
A level 6, but you have to have your hair at a level 2 because you're different. Him alone, tell me how this little 11-year-old boy now, by himself, the only black boy, is fighting against this whole system that's against him. How is he alone going to do that?
And let me give you a better example. When I first got to A-levels in 2020, right? Somebody asked me a funny question. It wasn't a funny question, but I was just shocked. I was at the bus station. His name is Sam. I won't mention his last name, but his name is Sam.
Call him out.
I believe to this day, whether I was racist or not, I was in the North Lancaster, so still. He came to me at the bus station. He said, I have a question for you. I said, what? He said, how can you speak English so well?
Oh my God, you know I got that.
Out of pocket. I was on my ones and I just asked why I can speak English
in
so
year
well.
7, because basically I used to be really quiet because I don't like speaking to people when I first come. In year 7, for like the first couple of weeks, I don't really used to say nothing. You know, when I finally opened my mouth in class, the first thing that came out was like, oh my God, we thought you never spoke because we thought you couldn't speak English. I was like, Lord of Christ.
And then you have things where like, you might speak your Nigerian accent. and they can't understand what you're saying, but then it becomes a joke like, oh, this black guy is just talking, we don't get what he's saying.
Everybody's
like,
making fun of you.
And the truth is and that's how it is.
See, that's the thing. That's why I feel like so many people don't get it, because you actually like, it's something that you have to live in. And I feel like it's a shitty experience, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't know.
And if you do something right, it's African, if someone else does it, it's just normal. Like there was one time my friend was in the library and he was like tapping his like pencil on the table, and the librarian came over and he was like, stop making those jungle beats on the table. But whenever the white kids got stopped for doing that, it was just they were making noise. It's like, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
it's
years. I think I kind of see.
It's actually years of like
even in the jokes in general. Like I think, and the issue with them is racism is so deep rooted to the point where a lot of people now can either be racist or overcompensate. Yeah. So there are times where they're saying, "Oh, what's up, my G, my homie?" Like, bro, what is a homie? I'm from America. you gotta understand.
And then if you don't talk like that, because this is something I got for a good 7 years. If you don't talk like the stereotypical black person, my G, my homie, yeah, slave queen, you're an Oreo. You're not black enough. Yeah. You're whitewashed. You're this, you're that. But then the moment you start speaking like a hood rat,
you're ghetto.
You're actually ghetto. You're this. It's like you guys can't win.
So okay, let me just from what I've heard you guys talk about today, from like the issue, like the way I see the broad picture right now, I feel like all the issue like we have as, let's say, black people, like non-superior race. That's
I wouldn't say we're not superior. I'll just say
okay. Let's just say that. Like the problems we have are like the problems we have right now are like they're too interwoven, and it's like to like on like really like unwoven the threads is like kind of like the weed is still weed.
I think
are still weaving into each other.
It's just years. It's systematic.
Yeah, I think the problem we have, right?
It's not like we can't fix it. Like we actually can't. It's just very systematic. It's years of brainwashing. How do you fix years?
It's kind of like deeper, right? It's kind of like you having an issue with the foundation of your house 10 years after it's built. It's not something you can just fix because it's the foundation. If you make one wrong turn, it's kind of like black people have a fundamental. Never black people. The world has a fundamental issue. Racism is normal. For example, when you think of even in your own country, Nigeria, I want a Benz, I want a Rolls Royce. Believe it or not, they're Nigerian-owned companies. You never hear them. Nobody wants
innocent vehicles.
Nobody wants it. Everybody wants the Germans. Everybody wants the Italians. Everybody wants the French. Everybody wants the Americans. Everybody wants the Swedish. Nobody wants, because like I said, everybody wants to go to America. Everybody wants to earn in pounds, dollars. Obviously, that's for exchange rate reasons. But everybody wants everything Western. Everybody wants iPhone. Everybody wants Jordans. Everybody wants Nike. Everybody. You know what I'm trying to say? Nobody. Deeply, even when you come to Nigeria, and you're a white person. Oh, you're treated differently. People praise you because what is it? The color of your skin.
Even when you have an accent.
You get what I mean? Everybody sees you. Everybody sees you differently. You get what I mean? Like everybody, the whole perception, like the fundamental, and the truth is, right, because like Matthew said, a young boy at 11, they've now, kind of like slowly started pouring him the drink of, be
he's
like
drinking
us.
That Kool-Aid.
When he's 20, when he's 22. At this point, his hair is all slicked back. He doesn't know where he's from. He doesn't go back to his village because, all those British characters, what am I going to learn from back in my country?
Like, he's actually the only one. How is he supposed to? That's my stuff like
this. And it happens. It truly happens.
That's what I'm saying. If you don't, to be so fair, what's it called? For me, because I was the only black person in my year group for a very long time. Do you understand how easy it is to just forget who you are as a person? I feel like if I didn't go home constantly, it would have been so easy to just forget who you are as a person. Yeah. Because this is what you're seeing every day. This is what you wake up. These are your friends. This is who you're around 24/7. This is what you see on TV. It's in the books you read. It's literally all you know.
And the worst part about all of this, right, is because even the friends who are making these jokes, they don't even do it intentionally. They're taught.
They're taught.
It's not even as if they do it. It's natural. It's a natural thing.
Because a teacher will hear something like that and not say anything. Yeah. They'll actually not do nothing about it.
Like when I first got to A-levels and people were like, "Oh, can I touch your hair?
Can I touch your hair?"
Bro.
Oh my
guys, I have a very funny story about that. What's it called? I used to have braids, obviously. Yeah. And then one time I had a bun. So I put my braids in a bun. I was in maths and people were sticking their pencils and sharpeners in my hair to see if it would stay. Do you know how insane that is? Because I was actually sat there minding my business and people will stick stuff in your hair to see if it stays. Do you understand that that's cracked? Like, that's not okay.
Yeah,
It's stuff like that.
I went to secondary school and I joined sixth form. So I was in the same school from year 7 to year 11, right? All throughout that time, I only went to school with an afro twice. The first time was in year 7. It was like November. I went to school with an afro. Tell me why they cut my afro, put stuff inside of it, glue.
Exactly. It's insane.
So this is like 11-year-olds and up. Teacher said nothing, and then the second time I went to school with an afro was on my last day of sixth form before I left the school forever. I came in an afro just to show that I could do it again. So yeah.
And there's also stuff like, also in schools, like, the stuff that we notice is they don't really, like, when something racist happens or when you have like a case of like a microaggression or a racism or something, what they don't react to the racism itself. They react to how you react to the racism.
Yes, you have to put
because
on a show.
you have to be calm in the face of something that is supposed to make you upset, something that would make anybody upset. You have to learn to be calm. You have to learn to educate them on why that's wrong.
And it's the same thing like we mentioned before. The reason why they don't react to it is, again, they
It's
don't react
not
to it. It has
important
nothing
to
to do with them. You get what I mean? It doesn't affect
It doesn't affect them.
So why do they need to react?
If someone made a joke about anything, like when we learned about Jewish like history and all of that, if someone made a joke about that, it was raps for them. It was week suspension. You come back, you're in isolation room for a week, seclusion room for a month, no talking to anybody. You eat your lunch alone. But then someone says the N word. Oh, Timmy.
Exactly. Especially this N-word thing is crazy. Did you guys read Of Mice and Men?
Of Mice and
Let me explain something. Let me explain something that blew my mind in that thing. So, have you read Of Mice and Men? In Of Mice and Men is this book, and there's like a lot of N-words in it. Now,
wait. Let me. I don't think Sam understands. Okay, so basically, in English like class, right, we were given books by the school to read, to understand, analyze, and then we'll do exam.
It's like Jekyll and Hyde. And
stuff like that. But we just had Of Mice and Men.
Yeah. So we did Macbeth. Of Mice and Men was one of the. It was just like a racial book made in old times, like.
It was actually not even about the story wasn't even about racism, but basically there's this part of the book, like, obviously because it was made back in the times, it has the N-word in it loads. And do you know that we got to do knock-on reading, and then now again, only black person in my class, I'm asking my teacher, "Calm, is it okay for people to actually say this word?" And she's like, "Yeah, because if it's in a book, it's fine. They can say it." And now we're going around the class, and there's literally kids that will knock on, say the N-word, knock back on to stop reading, just so that they get the chance to say it. And this lady, she's like, "Oh, it's okay." And you complain, and she'll be like, "It's okay. It's in the book. We have to learn it."
I think, and I'm gonna drop a hot. I'm gonna drop a hot take right now.
Out of all the books,
I'm actually about to drop. No, they do. And the truth is, and I'm gonna drop a hot take. I think obviously, that is why a lot of countries that are not in the West hate the West. Like, for example, Russia and China, they're grinding their teeth waiting for the day these guys go down. Because the truth is, like Maji said, they don't treat us like people. The truth is, okay, look at the Dubai, UAE. Most Dubai citizens don't work. You know what I'm trying to say? Dubai treats their people properly. Even Nigeria, we don't even treat our people properly. Because obviously, like, the brainwashing, the colonization, once you are rich or you're of a certain class,
very whack
you can just do what you want to do, and the people who are above you can just, die. That's how they treat us. So for me, it's kind of like, when these people do this, especially the government, because they know what's happening, they know it's not, you can't sit down as a UK government and think, okay, cool, we have a school, majority white people saying, nigga, in front of a black person, it should be okay. Unless they then indoctrinate the black person to think it's okay. That's a whole different thing.
And every time, like, this was the funny part of that, every time somebody would say that word, they would all turn around and just look at me.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And it happens.
Slavery.
How are you supposed to?
What
am I supposed to do? And if I crash out now, it's she's angry. Like,
and then think about it.
Angry.
There's so many different things I don't understand again, because obviously now it's just, I'm just remembering my A levels. They talk about poverty. They talk about sicknesses, diseases, illnesses. Why is it only Africa? I don't know countries in Brazil, Afghanistan, Iraq suffering as. Why is it when they think of poverty? Why is it first thing they go to? Congo, Nigeria. Look, I don't understand.
Most of the global illnesses and like plagues and stuff that killed Africa were either natural all brought over by colonization.
You have a whole country,
All
India,
of the
Southern
places
America.
that
How is it
in
now
the
us that
UK,
apparently have
you
the worst?
had
Like, I don't
the
understand.
bubonic plague from them being dirty, the black plague from them not washing. The London fire was because they built their houses out of wood and then some bakery decided to burn down. But it was like all of the. Imagine how dirty you have to be to cause a plague.
That's what I'm saying. Like, in general, what they do, right? Like I said before, every negative connotation, they find a way to link it to us.
The air was black smoke. Like African countries never had that. All of the diseases, like we had natural.
Sam,
health
if I go,
and
Sam,
natural
Sam, if I go
resources.
right now,
chewing
as I am.
stick as a toothbrush.
Oh, Sam, if I go right now, right, to Kensington Estate, I buy a £10 million house, I buy a Lamborghini, I have money, I'm dressed in Gucci, I'm dressed in Ralph Lauren, all the Loki brand, right? And I walk out of my house with my £10,000 dog. You know, all the white neighbors still look at me funny because in their minds they're thinking, why are you here? Or how did you get here?
Mm-hmm.
That's how it is. Have you ever gone to a nice shop and they look at you like they look back?
Of course.
Like, maybe this guy is working here or something. Why is he the line? You get what I'm trying to say? That's the truth.
And it's also like, I don't know why everyone always thinks that there's no racism in the UK, which is so insane because it's literally like we are this place is the blueprint of like racism and microaggression. And there was something that Sam said.
People always forget about the British Empire, bro.
Yeah. There's something that Sam said about how like this, because we touched slightly on this, like, wanting to be lighter and stuff. I don't think it's actually that one is such a deep issue about wanting to be lighter, because the darker you are, you're just seen as more like, what's it called? Just seen as more like not the beauty standard.
Well, like
you're
you're
not
dirty,
pretty.
you're rough,
everyone want.
You bring them around and like
everyone wanted to have.
Hold you.
There was like this whole time that everyone was just obsessed with mixed race people. Like it was a whole obsession.
Light skin
because
epidemic.
the lighter, like, it's okay for you to be black when you're light, but then when you start to get a bit darker, it's like, well,
then you don't have the variations. Brown skins, dark skins, all of
you're
these
actually
things.
pushing it now because it's actually so like it's also stuff like people that grow up here. If you grow up here and you're like of darker skin, and this is a thing now. It's so normal, like when you're growing up, to have like little crushes and for people to find you attractive and stuff. And now imagine you're this dark skinned babe and you're growing up with everybody else. You're not even understanding this difference. But it's like everybody else around you is like, I have a crush on Jessica over there. I have a crush on Lucy over there. I have a crush on, but it's like you're constantly getting overlooked. You're going to start thinking there's something wrong with you as a person, because it's not like, if it's the majority that's doing it, it can't be something wrong with everybody else. It's got to be something wrong with you. And you're hearing that, Lucy over there is the beauty standard with her straight hair and her blue eyes. Jessica over there is beauty standard with her curls, but she's not dark enough. So it has to be you. You're literally, one time, I don't remember what year I was in, but some boy was literally like I'm sure, what's the stupid thing that he said? He was like, I'm sure you're really, really pretty where you come from, but here you're just not pretty enough. Do you understand? That's an insane thing for a child to hear, because you actually grow up and constantly believe that. And why does he think that? Someone's probably already taught him that. And it's okay, because a lot of people think like that. You're pretty, you're just black. Do you understand how insane that is for like a child to learn? Because you actually grow up and start hating yourself. Yeah. So
it's just,
it's upsetting.
It's not even, because for me, I feel like, again, I kind of see it from both sides. Not saying the other side has a point, but I kind of see it from like, okay, cool, I understand, obviously, if you're a citizen of this country, you live here. It's kind of like how, British people like beans on toast. For us, we're like, there's no flavor, there's no seasoning, but that's...
Beans on toast.
I know, but a lot of people will say, their chicken is plain or whatever, their Sunday roast is plain. You get what I mean? Because that's how they're taught to like it. So obviously, I wouldn't say the issue I have is not really their preference, but it's them deciding to then put pressure on us because of their preference, or like their discrimination. You get what I mean?
No, but it is the issue. There is an issue, because beans on toast is a selective thing. You can choose to have beans on water. You can choose to whatever with beans. I can't remove the color of my skin.
That's why I'm saying. I'm not saying that's what I'm saying is
people act as if being racist is like, but it's just they were just.
Oh my god,
racism is hatred towards somebody for
something they can't change.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. I know, but like I said, what I said is
like it's in my DNA. Like
I get what you're saying.
In my molecular structure.
It's just like females saying they don't like tall guys.
Yeah, no.
That's a different. See, sound.
They don't like short guys like me.
What I was saying.
Then find a woman that likes a short king.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what I was. This guy has not listened to one word for the last hour. But what I'm saying, right, is like I said, everybody can have their own preference. It's not about
Yeah,
DNA.
it's just
not,
you
why
can
you
have your
then
preference.
pressure
Don't
it.
just shit on someone else's.
That's why I'm
preference.
saying you don't
Even
if
if it's like, oh, my preference is blonde. Okay, I can dye my hair blonde.
That's
It's
fine.
like
It's not even that my
skin
preference
colour.
is blonde. Your preference is blonde. That's fine.
Then-
Doesn't mean that my preference being a tall, dark man over there. There's nothing wrong with that.
You get what I mean? Why you then trying to
this skin color thing. There was this silly girl that made one comment one time, and she was like, she feels like what's it called? Ginger people get a lot of more abuse than black people. And she was so serious. Guys, it was actually a really serious statement. It made me chuckle a bit because what? And I told her, like, babe, you know you can actually just dye it. Like, if it's that deep, just dye the hair.
Like,
And she was like,
I can't dye my skin.
She was like, they get so much. She actually used the word racial abuse than black people. And I was like, okay.
And then
Since we want to like,
I remember
since we're all saying silly things
even
here.
in A levels, they used to make one stupid joke of like, oh, you know, you're black. If you turn off the lights, you can't see.
Yeah,
you.
we can't see.
And I'm like, wait, okay, no. And I'm like, wait, okay. As a white person, if you turn the lights, can I see you? Is it not the same physics?
It's so stupid.
How can I see you? The lights are off.
They turn off the lights and be like, oh my god, where's Judith?
Like we
Don't
can't see
upset
you.
me.
Judith can't see you either, bro. You get what I'm trying to say because
Don't
the
upset
lights are
me.
off.
Shush.
So I actually don't understand how, like, you get what I'm trying to say. And again,
don't even talk about like the social media aspects because they will link the crazy, like, let one silly black person do something on like when KSI did the whole Babatunde thing.
Yeah.
And then Babatunde this, Babatunde that, and like just
It literally became your whole
so
life.
weird.
You know, there was a kid in my school, like for the entirety of the 2 years of sixth form, that never called me by my name. He called me Wakanda forever, every day, every single day, from year 12 to year 13. He did not call me my name. Do you know how insane that is?
yeah, I think I don't believe they are not really taught.
Yeah, because they
Because
don't.
it doesn't
They
affect
don't
them.
really know
Slightly,
these
it's
things.
not.
Like,
It's not. And that's what I'm saying. It's not as if they do it out of malicious. They don't do it
Some
because
people
you get what I mean.
just
Some
do it
people do.
because they're
They do because obviously they're scumbags, but obviously a lot of people just do it, you know, because you get what I'm trying to say.
some people are educated, they just do it anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just stuff like that. Like, it's just hard. And then it's like, then people ask the questions of like, so, because obviously, people send like their children to private schools for like better educations.
Yeah.
But the people now start asking the question, is the like education that they're gonna get, is that now like, is it worth putting your child through that kind of like
psychological torture?
Stress?
I guess
Is
at
it
the end of
worth
the
it?
day, parents.
I feel like private school made me, like, the experience made me the person I am today.
Word.
So
No, but the issue is, it's kind of like something you go through. It's kind of like, you know, the saying of pressure makes diamonds. Pressure makes diamond. It's either make a diamond or it's a blow up. You know what I'm trying to say? It's actually blow up or make a diamond.
Some
So it's
people
like,
will-
some people might go through what you went through and be like, you know what, I don't want to
It's
stay here
fine,
anymore. You
like,
get what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm
yeah.
tired. I don't want to do this anymore. Obviously,
Or
you're still
just
here.
turn into just the worst type of people.
Yeah.
But it's that argument, like, is it okay to send your kids to like PWIs, predominantly white institutions, because they'll be getting a better education? Or should we find a way to put them with their peers? Like, is it
Would
fine?
do you believe, obviously, when you mention putting them with their peers, don't you think that would, you know, over time lead to more segregation and the divide?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, yes, that's an argument for that side. Now, an argument for this other side is now your child is in a room having to look around the room and clock that they are the only person of that race in that room, and now they feel weird. You're
And
constantly
you
walking
can't
on
even say add
eggshells.
another one because sometimes it's like, oh, then one turns on the other, and then it's like, then you've got like they pit the two black kids against each other, and then it's
It was
just
mostly
like,
black boys and black girls. To be fair, that was been
oh
pitting
my
against
gosh,
each other.
did you ever have that thing? Oh, I don't think you would have this because you're the only black girl.
No,
but
to be fair, there was there was
when-
some black girls.
when the teacher, right, there was this one girl, and then shout out to my homie man, Daniela, bestie.
They would call you a
We
name,
look
innit?
Nothing. Imagine she's darker than me. She's got like two completely separate countries, different face shape, different nose structure. We look nothing alike.
Some
right?
way, somebody will still
But-
manage to call you her name.
Everybody, teachers. To be honest, it was only the teachers. They will act like PE teacher. Oh, that's that. No, as in, like, I'm like, oh, blessing, can you read today? Like, that, my name is
Stuff like
Daniela. And it's like, when you
that.
flip out, oh, why are you flipping out? It's just the name. Because that's not my name.
Like, it's actually, like, it's just stuff like that. So, is that, like, I know, but is it worth it? Is it worth sending your child to that kind of school? Because if that kind of stuff happens and you don't really pay attention as a parent, because your child is going to school and learning all these things that, like,
I
they're just
think
hating themselves.
Me personally, I'm gonna say this and it might sound crazy, but a lot of parents don't know how to parent.
True.
I think a lot of parents just think, providing, disciplining your kids and sending them to school is all you have to do. I think they don't know there's an intricacy. When you're raising a living thing that, has the, 5 senses, you're not going to say, see, hear, touch, everything you say, it matters. Like, I think a lot of parents don't actually know how to parent. There's some parents who, like, give the tough love. They're involved in your life, but they're not involved. Like, for example, a lot of dads are involved, but, if you ask a lot of people, how many combos do you have with your dad every single week? They'll tell you, oh, I only talk to him when he calls me. And when he calls me, I probably done something wrong. You get what I'm trying to say? Nobody actually wakes up and says, oh, some people do, but a lot of people, because obviously dads are seen as, you're a man, just provide and, stay in your side. You get what I'm trying to say? While the mothers do a lot of, like, they care. So I think even parenting alone, people in this country don't beat, people back home beat. Some people in Nigeria don't even touch their kids. You get what I'm trying to say? Some people don't believe in, physically harming their children. Some people think, harm is a way of correcting them. I understand why beating exists, but what I don't understand about beating is because beating started, right, when farmers had animals. You cannot, no, that's the truth. It's the truth, and I'll tell you the truth. When your sheep, no, I'll be honest with you, when your sheep, right, is going through the wrong door, you hit it to warn it. It's kind of like, there's a word scientists use to do it. So you stop. Yeah, so you stop.
Classical conditioning.
So you stop them from doing it. What I do, yeah. So now in the animal's mind, it knows that door is equals to pain. You get what I mean? What I now don't understand, right? And what I don't get about why parents do it now is, okay, cool. Your kid is fully cognitive. You can speak to your child. He understands English. Why do you still need to condition him?
So you wouldn't hit your kids?
It's not, if they do something crazy, then sure, but like if it's like, oh, you dropped a cup, I can elaborate to him.
You explain to them, because that's what people, because I did childcare for a bit, right? I was working in the nursery for like 3 years, but it was like a Montessori, so it was from like 6 months to 5 years old. And what happens is when you discipline a child, you have to explain to them so they understand. The reason I'm putting you in this naughty corner is because you hit Timmy.
But a lot of Nigerian parents, from my experience, a lot of parents, you do something wrong, you already received a slap before you even understand what you have done is wrong.
Of inflation and because of how scary the naira is right now.
But it's not about that. I think I think
take out the anger.
And like I said, it's another thing of children. Like,
how can the naira be this much money?
No, I feel like there's also a fine line between like discipline when it comes to hitting your kids and just straight abuse. And like Blessing said, I feel like sometimes like some parents, so many people should not be parents. They should not be taking care of.
I drop a cup I break a glass on the floor and now I'm being beat as if I'm pregnant at 16. Like,
no, it's still like so many people like they're just not ready because they're not emotionally like intelligent enough to be having another human being. It's like
people for too long.
It's not even that, because there's like that's why there's such a fine line. Some parents like take out all their frustration, and it's normal as human beings for us to like take out our frustrations on like different things, but it's so crazy when you're taking out your frustration of your life on your own kids. Like you're just hitting these children, and I feel like some of it is them trying to live vicariously through your kids. That's why when a child doesn't do a certain thing that you want them to do, you're now hitting that child because of that anger, because it's like you didn't get to do that when you were that age, so now you're trying to live vicariously through that child. Me personally, I'll hit my children, not like hit, like a little, like if you've done something small, because I can't lie, you can tell when someone wasn't hit as a child. You can tell in the way they behave that nobody did anything to you. That's why you're like this. So a little slap here and there.
My kids don't have to, do the pump, you have to squat, do the pin thing.
Oh, there's punishments. Yeah, there's punishments. Like, and also because to be fair, they hit me. I wasn't.
What do you call it?
The agenu.
These ones.
Yeah.
Now frog.
I was never naughty enough for that.
The one you have to kneel
frog
down
jump,
and
quick
put
pen.
your hands up.
Kneel down, raise your hand and close your eyes.
This is the only one I got.
They'll try to close your eyes.
Oh, have you guys done one of these?
I only got that kneel down one because I once I wrote in my diary. I blame Disney Channel for this. I wrote in my diary that I had a crush on a boy and mommy found it.
Have you guys got one of these?
No, bro,
You
that's
had to
bad,
be
bro.
so naughty for that.
As a kid.
That was like you didn't do your homework and then you said your teacher said your homework.
I had to be so naughty for that because my parents they barely they didn't really hit me that much. It was only when I did something.
And should I be honest? And I think with what would you call it, Matthew and Blessing explain about the whole childcare explaining to them. I think because of a lot of parents didn't do the explaining part, it caused a lot of divide between parents and their kids. Because now besides the kid is like, okay, cool, I can do something wrong. Obviously, I don't even get to elaborate why I did something wrong, or even if I elaborate, it's because
you can't even talk.
Obviously, because it's something you didn't want. My explanation doesn't even make any sense. You're not really to consider what I'm saying. So just like, oh, why did you do that? Oh, are you okay? Go and kneel down and raise up your hand.
When you're frustrated, you're in your room.
Yeah.
Just crying. This is not
Because if you don't, and then it goes from that thing of the resentment, and there's also fear. You start to fear your parents.
And I think the thing with fear, and I think with a lot of the things with fear is fear when it brews for a long time.
It just turns to hatred.
Literally, it's kind of a thing where it's fear equals to hatred.
You don't get to have that kind of relationship with your kids. You don't get to talk about things because that's my thing, Sha. If I will probably hit my child if they do something not probably box a small 10-year-old, just a little. Because that's a lot of people are actually doing Mortal Kombat with their children. It's really insane, but it's not box a little kid. I'll just spank a little.
As the kid starts running, I think leave it there because why are you actually chasing your child around your house to beat it?
Yeah, it's actually not leave it there. Just small things, and
break.
Sometimes it's okay because when you do something so silly. And they slap you. When you want to do it again, you remember that slap. You remember how much it hurt, and you'll sit your ass down.
Speaking honestly, right? Being punished it didn't make me a better child. It made me a sneaky one.
Oh,
yeah.
That's different. To be fair, I then realized that those things were wrong.
Yeah, I guess so. Obviously, learning.
It's wrong, but you want to do something.
I think learning in of itself is a personal thing. For example, I think sometimes the people who they get punished, they don't want to do it again. They get punished, they want to do even more. You get what I'm trying to say? It's kind of this time I didn't get it, but next time surely I'll learn from my mistake. There are people who are like that, people who rob banks twice.
You have to figure out what kind of child you have, I guess.
That's the truth, and then you know how to parent them. There's no what you call it. There's no what you call it. Copy and paste script.
And I feel a lot of things that our parents or parents don't realize is just because that's how you were parented doesn't mean that that's how you should parent your child. Yeah. Every child is different.
And I think a lot of the times parents tend to take out. So it's kind of my boss treats me like shit, so now I have an employee, I'm gonna treat him so basically a lot of your parents have beef with their own parents. Yeah. So now they then kind of take it out on you because they're oh, you get what I'm trying to say, now they have the power. And that's what happens a lot of the time.
Literally, it's a cycle. They did this to me, so I'm gonna do this to you so you understand how I felt.
And that's how it is.
It's just so upsetting. But then I feel at the same time, I feel we also need to give our parents some slack because it's actually I feel we forget, but it's actually their first time on earth too. Your mom is literally just a girl. Your dad is just a boy. It's literally their first time.
40-year-old guy's not a boy.
No, but it's literally his first time being a dad. And it's her first time being a mom. They didn't.
That's why there's such a difference between first, second, third sibling, behaviors.
Yeah, and also, there is actually such a difference. Oh, this is so completely off topic. This is related to the thing that Blessing said. But I've been seeing this thing on TikTok where it's your dating or your sibling order and how you date and the kind of people that you should date. Yeah. And I think that thing is so cool because you don't even understand how much impact your order of being born has on your life. Because it's stuff oldest daughter, youngest son, and then oldest daughter, oldest son, oldest daughter. I can tell you for the freaky, oldest daughter and middle kid is just a recipe for absolute disaster. Yeah, it just doesn't.
What's the best combo?
I feel it depends. Some people think oldest daughter, youngest son is a really good combo because she's been she's so
how to be treated, so he knows how to
treat her, and she's so hyper independent. She's been so hyper independent all her life. She's literally treating him like a child how, and then she kind of teaches him how to be more responsible as a younger kid, and he teaches her how to actually just calm down and be treated right. That's that people say.
Wait,
that's
so
cool.
you're saying oldest daughter,
youngest son.
youngest
Me personally, I think this one it depends. But I think oldest daughter, oldest son is actually all right in some cases. In some cases, that is a recipe for absolute disaster because that is.
One of them wants to be like give in.
Yeah, that is actually just fighting.
So what would you say the best combo for the oldest son?
Oldest son.
I think middle daughter or like a middle child because middle daughter because he knows how to take care of her, and middle children just want to be taken care of. They need the love that their parents never gave them. Because if you're a middle daughter,
Your parents never gave you.
That's deep. That's deep.
That's what I gave you. So serious.
No, just in general, it's true that when you're a middle child, right? Because you're not the oldest, you don't get the oldest treatment. Because you're not
What's the oldest treatment, please?
Youngest treatment.
The other treatment is
You're just
given
kinda
more responsible roles
lost in the
now.
middle.
Like it's more.
That's why middle children are either
It is basically
because middle children are either overachievers because they're trying to show their parents that they're great, or they're crash outs because nobody actually sees them, so they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, I feel like to be fair, oldest son and oldest daughter, a lot of the time, most times doesn't work in my opinion.
Sometimes it's a recipe for disaster.
Obviously, because at the end of the day, if a guy is trying to be, a man, and the lady has
It's also now a man.
she's been conditioned to be a man. You get what I'm trying to say? So now nobody gives in. It's kind of like putting two walls together. So it doesn't go anywhere. You get what I'm trying to say?
But sometimes
that's why middle daughter, because she doesn't get the oldest child treatment. She's independent, but then she's also like
what's it called? Sometimes oldest daughter, oldest son can work because they understand each other. Like they understand what it's like to
understanding and implementation are two different things.
Yeah, no, that's why I said sometimes it can work. They understand what it's like to be each other, kind of.
They
like
balance each other out.
Sometimes because it's like, okay, I'm gonna treat you nice, but I wanna treat you nice, and now they're both treating each other nice. It could also go like horrible ways because you should listen. No, you should listen. Now we have a problem. But that's where communication comes in and stuff.
If one person's always on job, the other person can relax and know.
My fault, bro.
Massage in the back.
Like if one person's always on job, the other person can relax and know that okay, I can relax for a bit and not have to always work or go crazy. Because like imagine you're trying to relax, but then it's like, oh, he's not gonna bring any bread, so I'm gonna have to do double. So it's like you can never relax, you can never go take that day off.
That's why I feel like sometimes I feel like this oldest daughter, youngest son thing sometimes might not work because some younger siblings like that's what I'm saying. Some I don't know. I wouldn't. They barely do anything. So it's like even in my relationship now, constantly I am the one having to use my head all the time. As I've grown up taking care of everyone. Now I've come into this relationship and I'm still taking care of you. That's why sometimes that wouldn't work. But then again, I feel like also depends on the person. Like it depends on like how you grew up and stuff and your dynamic. But yeah, I just thought that was really cool.
To be fair, I mean, when you say in your relationship you have to keep using your head, what do you mean? Obviously, you don't have to, mention or elaborate on your relationship.
Do you know that phrase where it's like, sometimes you don't have to use your brain.
Yeah.
Like when you're around your boyfriend, you don't have to use your brain. Or when you're around certain people in your life,
you're just comfortable like that.
You're comfortable enough to like just go on autopilot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
when you're with
you
certain
got
people.
somewhere you just got there.
No, not like that. Please, I know I got there.
That sounds like kidnapping. What do you don't know?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Google Maps isn't in your hand.
Yeah, like you can actually just relax.
Like you can look up at the sky and not have to worry about I need to take a left and take a right and then cross the road.
You're not waking up thinking like you're in a relationship. So obviously you're thinking
someone's got your back.
But yeah, there's actually somebody constantly in your corner. That's what it means by like not having to use your brain and stuff. Basically, that's what I was saying. Because there's certain friends that you don't have to use your brain around.
Yeah.
And there's certain people that you have to use your brain double. Like when you're trying to do something. Some people make you use your brain
They reduce. You become like powerful girls.
So there's nothing. So it's literally like that. So that's what I meant by use your brain.
No, I get what you're saying. I actually understand what you're saying. I feel like it depends. I think it's different. I guess it's different in a friendship than it is in what you call it,
It's important to you to prioritize.
relationship. I think it's different in a friendship than it is in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because like in a friendship, if you're not using your brain and the other person not using their brain, where are we going? Where are we going? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like
that person never had a brain to begin with.
so it's kind of like, well, that's all lost.
Cooked.
But I think in a relationship, it depends. I think it's kind of like
I hate people are not using their brain in a relationship.
Yeah,
that's serious. I think
I think we should just cut it there. I think it's okay. I think you should just leave it. Like, it's fine.
I think
Because why are you in a relationship with someone and you people don't want to use your head?
no. I don't
Hey.
think. I'm not saying like both people shouldn't use their head. You know what I mean? Everybody has their moments. Everybody has their up and downs. When one person is down, you know, you have to compensate for that person.
Yeah.
It's not always like, oh, you have to be at 60% at this time, because like, to be fair, relationship is a job. You know what I mean? I think obviously as long as your communication is on point, that's all that matters. And I feel like obviously sometimes when people, you know, decide to use their brains, they may find it difficult. People have this ideology where they can't understand or they can't fathom that different people operate differently to them. You get what I'm trying? You get what I'm trying to say? Like, change is something that's fundamental in human nature. The fact that some people can't accept change means you have an issue, because you've gone from using iPhone 5 to an iPhone 15. You've changed. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So you kind of change something you don't want to change. So I think a lot of the times, like in relationships, it's more like so for a guy, right? Let's say, you know, I'm always used to be, you know, using my brain, and then one day, you know, Mashi says, oh, let me take initiative. Some people are like, oh, as a man, my pride was hurt because a woman. And I'm like, obviously, I understand where you're coming. Well, I cannot.
Relax.
You get what I'm trying to say? Like, chill out, bro. It ain't that deep. You get what I'm trying to
know?
say? Obviously, same for like, sometimes, even nowadays in girls, I don't want to like, you know, refer to the whole feminism thing because that's a whole different conversation that's very intricate. But sometimes now, it's different. Again, I'm just like, I'm being honest. Because sometimes, right, even when, let's say nowadays, you know, you try to take initiative, because, you know, as a guy, it might come across as, maybe it's condescending, or, you know, it's like, what are you trying to say? Obviously, I'm not saying all women are like that, not at all. There's like 2% of them. It's not even social media makes it look like it's a big deal, but it's not. Like a very minority, a very few amount of women, you know, act like this. But I think it's just kind of like a communicational thing. And I think some people don't really like to communicate because, one, they feel like, you know, they might not be heard, or two, they feel like their point might not be understood and they might cause an issue. So they'd rather avoid an issue by not saying anything. But that then builds a bigger issue because now you're growing something in the back of your brain. You get what I mean? So it's just, you know, it just really depends. The whole, you know, switching your brain off and on. I think at the end of the day, everybody should be comfortable enough where, depending on the situation, you know, they can switch their brain off. It's not one person has to be on and the other person has to be off.
Yeah.
Like a switch is, you know.
You can just relax, really, and just know that someone's there, someone's got you, someone's thinking.
Yeah, there should be a balance, honestly.
Yeah, literally.
That's clear. Alright, cool then. I think that's all we got for today.
Alright, also you guys, if you guys want to like, we're talking about the Instagram shit.
Oh, basically, so we're gonna do like a segment where if you wanna send in like issues, questions, stuff that you have, and then we'll give you advice. So like an advice column.
Yeah.
Is basically
So we're gonna put the Instagram handle like down there, somewhere on the screen, or you can like go in the description below. It's gonna be in the description. Click on the link, follow us on Instagram, and then just keep up with us. So like, we're gonna like post something. How are you gonna do it?
We'll also like, if you want it to be anonymous, we'll find like a link and you can just drop the questions in so that like we don't know who the questions have come from necessarily.
Yeah. But even if you do, message the Instagram, we're not gonna, you know, pull out the phone and say,
say your name.
This person said this question, so you know, obviously privacy reasons. So we're not gonna, you know, how you.
But like, if you have any issues, any questions, any just stuff, you can just ask them and we'll answer them for you.
And also,
give you our opinion, not really answer them.
That's all we can give.
Yeah.
We can't give you a definite answer, but you know.
Yeah, and also if you guys want to see any other segment on the pod, any ideas you got, we can put on like the pod, just write a comment, all that shit. Yeah, I think that's it for today's pod. It's your boy Sam,
Matthew,
Omo,
the WTBI podcast. Yeah, we out. Thanks for having us. Till next week.